Okay, so June 19th, 1997, there's a 16-year-old girl, a quart of cinnamon schnapps, and an $80 dare. This girl, this cheerleader, very popular, very bright. Nobody could believe that she was stupid enough to take an $80 dare to chug a bottle of cinnamon schnapps until she was rushed to the emergency room and died with a .381 blood alcohol level 12 hours after her death. Unfortunately, this kind of peer pressure, we see it all the time. So what is peer pressure? Straight and simple, it's an influence from the members of one's own peer group. And this can be positive or negative, and there's a lot of question then, can you use it to keep somebody from doing something or make somebody do something that's desirable rather than having them do something that's self-destructive or dangerous? But then you have a lot of ethical questions on whether or not it's right to make somebody do something that they wouldn't normally do just because you think it might be better for them. And that's what we're going to discuss tonight. So when we did our survey, we asked who felt the most affected by peer pressure. We looked at gender, age, social class, and what we came up with was, first of all, most people felt that they were more subjected to peer pressure when they were children and then later on in their life in high school. And that makes sense because then you have those transitions where you feel awkward, vulnerable. What was interesting is there really was no correlation with males or females. And unanimously, peer pressure came from people that were close to them, but not family members. It was predominantly friends rather than family members. So a big misconception then is I don't think people really understand how powerful peer pressure can be. Because we can all say, oh, my mind is my mind, and nobody can persuade me to do something that I wouldn't normally do anyway. But then how do you explain this 16-year-old cheerleader who was a star student, very popular? The only factor was her peers daring her to do this, and it was powerful enough for her to do that, and unfortunately that ended her life. In the 50s, a man named Solomon Asch actually performed an experiment to see how powerful the effects of peer pressure could be on individuals. And what that experiment did was he invited, I believe, 75 participants overall, and there were 12 trials or something. And what he did was he had one actual participant that didn't know what the actual experiment was going to be, and then the rest of the room was filled with actors. And he would then show a series of lines, and then he would show a line next to it, and he would have the participants match the line over here to the letter over here. And every one of the actors would state an answer that they obviously knew was wrong, say that this was the same as the shortest one here, A. The one participant that wasn't an actor obviously knew that was wrong, but surprisingly, on an average of 33% of the time, the participants blatantly lied just so they would match what everybody else in the room was saying. And you might say that doesn't sound like a lot, 33%, but you have to realize that there's no way to misconstrue this. If they even said it once, it's guaranteed a lie. So after proving what a profound effect that peer pressure can have on an individual, it only makes sense that people would want to exploit that and prevent these tragedies. And Sarah and Ricky are going to tell you about the pros and cons of doing just that.